The flap protector fixation ring was specifically designed for hyperopic LASIK treatment. Ablation diameters of 9 millimeters typically include the flap hinge, even with newer hyperopic microkeratomes. This instrument is designed primarily to protect the hinge, but also assist in fixation of the globe. Hyperopes seem to experience more difficulty identifying and holding the fixation light in focus. It's been my experience protecting the flap with other improvised instruments or sponges often leave the flap exposed while I monitor fixation. With improvised instruments and sponges, compression with subsequent indentation of the cornea in the vicinity of the flap often occurs, thus changing the ablation effect. The instrument design features include a reflector shield, or the protector, which may be used either on a nasal or superior application and is angled to fit adjacent to a speculum above in a superior hinged flap. A swiveled handle is attached to enable convenient application to the eye around the clock. The bottom of the instrument exhibits gentle fixation teeth to prevent slippage without epithelial disruption. And finally, the reduced ring size can be easily used with most speculum designs. As you can see, this gentleman has a subtle amount of nystagmus. Blink your eye a couple times. That's good. Wide open now. There we go. Now look right at the light. And when he holds fixation, he holds it pretty steadily, but you can still see that micro excursion. The bed is now exposed. Before applying the fixation ring, it's very important to dry the limbal area of the cornea to prevent slippage of the fixation ring and subsequent disruption of the epithelium. The ring should be applied with the straight edge of the protector aligned directly over the edge of the hinge. Even application of pressure is important. With hyperopes, I typically use a slight temporal decentering of the crosshairs of the grid on the Purkinje image. Okay, hold perfectly still here. We're going to start. Bit of drying. We're getting a nice uniform pressure against the globe. There's no indentation. Now, as you can see, the edge of the ablation being out to the outer ring has been protected by the angled flange. aspirating speculum in place, which gives for a cleaner interface. And just wiping any potential debris. Now we're going to go ahead and refloat the flap here. I like to use a little sponge to prevent the flap from sopping up any potential debris in the cul-de-sac there or adjacent to the lacrimal apparatus. Now we're just floating the flap back in position. Look right directly at the light there. Perfect, perfect. Now as you can see, this gentleman's eye, he does have an element of nystagmus, which would have made the ablation difficult. Actually, at the moment, it's about as well controlled as we've usually seen it. But the fixation device certainly held his eye steady. What we find in patients that are farsighted is they seem to have a great deal of difficulty finding the light and then holding the light. And frequently it takes one hand to protect the flap, a second hand a sponge, and sometimes it would be even more helpful to have a third hand to keep the eye steady. And with the fixation flap protector, two of those objectives are accomplished with one hand. Okay. Now we're simply going to paint the flap back on. This treatment represents a hyperopic treatment. Approximately, what was his treatment? 3 1/4, 3.25. The flap was created with a Novatome microkeratome. As you can see, this is a very generous flap.